May 1966, Chung Son Mountains, North Vietnam. Rain falls like needles, drumming against the leaves in a rhythm as steady as marching boots. Deep in the jungle, a convoy moves, silent, deliberate, invisible. Each bicycle carries more than 200 kilograms of rice, ammunition, and medical supplies, its frame reinforced with bamboo. The men pushing them are not soldiers in the traditional sense. No rifles slung over shoulders, no ranks pinned to their uniforms. They are the logisticians of Group 559, the invisible lifeline of the North Vietnamese war effort. Their orders are simple, but impossible. Build and maintain a road through 10,000 kilometers of jungle, across mountains and rivers, under the watch of American bombers. Every branch that breaks, every glint of metal could mean death. Above them, the sky growls, the sound of F-105 Thunder Chiefs and B-52 Stratus Fortresses scouring the canopy. Below, the men continue walking. In the mud, barefoot and soaked, Lieutenant Pham Van Kang, a young logistics officer, guides his team across a narrow bamboo bridge. They move without headlights, whispering commands. Behind them, a small generator hums faintly, powering a pump that feeds the first bamboo fuel pipeline, a crude but ingenious creation. They are not fighting the Americans, not yet. Their enemy is the jungle itself, the leeches, the rain, the hunger, the malaria. But through it all, they build. Every path they carve, every bridge they reinforce becomes another vein in what will soon be called the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a vast, living network running from North Vietnam through Laos and Cambodia, feeding the war in the south. From above, it looks like wilderness, but under the trees, under the smoke and mist, an army is moving, unseen, unstoppable. By the end of 1966, Group 559 has turned the jungle into a city that breathes in secret, a hidden artery pulsing with trucks, bicycles, porters, and willpower. The Americans will call it the Blood Road. The Vietnamese will call it life itself.
Late 1966. Laos-Vietnam border, deep within the Annamite Range. The rain has stopped, but the jungle still drips. Steam rises from the earth in heavy curtains. Beneath the canopy, a new sound begins to echo, the grinding metallic rumble of engines. The bicycles have been joined by trucks, Soviet-made ZIL 157s and Gaz 63s, their camouflage modeled with clay and palm leaves. At night, they crawl through narrow roads carved into the mountains, headlights covered by small slits of tin to avoid detection. Every kilometer forward is a battle, not against an army, but against visibility. Above, U.S. reconnaissance aircraft scan the jungle. Pilots circle for hours, looking for movement. What they see is nothing, only the endless green, the illusion of stillness. What they cannot see are over 10,000 North Vietnamese laborers working in total silence. In a clearing lit by moonlight, Lieutenant Kang watches his team drag a log across a crater. A bomb had fallen there only hours before, turning the road into a pit of mud. Now, with ropes and shovels, they rebuild it. The forest floor trembles again, a distant rumble, and he signals the men to freeze. Seconds later, the jungle explodes. A U.S. F-105 Thunder Chief screams overhead, releasing another payload of bombs that carve open the treetops. The earth lifts in waves. Shrapnel slices through leaves, tearing into the soil. When the noise fades, the only sound left is the soft patter of debris falling back to earth. For 10 minutes, no one moves. Then, slowly, the men stand, brush off the mud, and go back to work. Within an hour, the road is clear again. To survive the bombardments, Group 559 invents new tricks. Bridges are made from woven bamboo, built in sections that can be dismantled in minutes. Roads are disguised with tree canopies laid flat over tire marks or rebuilt elsewhere overnight. Every time the Americans map a trail, the Vietnamese simply erase it and draw another one. By early 1967, they have gone further still, creating underground workshops, repair depots, and camouflaged truck parks under layers of woven vines. At night, trucks move in single file, each following a guide holding a faint red lantern. The convoy is so silent that the only sound is the slosh of mud under tires. From the sky, the U.S. calls it impossible. From the ground, it looks like victory. At the heart of it all is a single idea, that war is not just fought by soldiers, but by those who keep them alive. Every sack of rice that reaches the South, every drum of fuel, every bullet begins its journey here, on a trail that doesn't officially exist. In the words of one American intelligence officer, it was as if the jungle itself had gone to war. But for Kong and his men, the hardest part is yet to come. The Americans are beginning to understand what this trail means, and soon they will send everything they have to destroy it.
Early 1967. The Ho Chi Minh Trail, Laos sector. The jungle trembles again, not with rain this time, but with the roar of engines. High above the clouds, B-52 Stratofortresses from Guam line up in formation, each carrying 30 tons of bombs. The operation is called ArcLight, and its purpose is simple: to erase the Ho Chi Minh Trail from existence. Below, the men of Group 559 brace themselves. The sound of the bombers reaches them long before the explosions, a low, rolling growl that feels like the earth itself is breathing in fear. "They're coming," someone whispers. Then the jungle erupts. The ground heaves as if alive. Entire trees are flung into the air. Shockwaves ripple through the soil, throwing men off their feet. When the bombing stops, nothing remains of the road, just craters the size of ponds and a silence so deep it hurts the ears. But by dawn, the rebuilding begins. Lieutenant Kong crawls out of a collapsed trench, his uniform torn, his face streaked with ash. Around him, men dig with shovels made from broken truck panels. A crater that could swallow a house becomes a bridge. A destroyed section of road becomes a new storage pit. Every scar becomes an opportunity. The Americans bomb again and again. By 1968, they have dropped more than 500 tons of explosives on the trail, more than all the bombs dropped in Europe during World War II. And still, the supplies move south. The Vietnamese respond with ingenuity bordering on defiance. Crews build floating fuel pipelines, bamboo tubes stretching for kilometers, hidden under swamp water. Others rig anti-aircraft guns on mountain ridges, firing blindly into the clouds. The sound of those guns, deep, rhythmic, relentless, becomes the jungle's heartbeat. At night, the trails glow faintly with the flicker of oil lamps. Convoys emerge like shadows, trucks coated with mud and branches for camouflage. Each carries ammunition, medicine, or food, the lifeblood of the war below. Every vehicle is precious. Each driver knows he might not return. Kong writes in his small notebook that night, "If we survive, the road survives. And if the road survives, the country will." But survival is not guaranteed. Agent Orange and defoliants now fall from the sky, stripping the forest bare. The camouflage that once hid them turns to skeleton trees. Heat, disease, and hunger do the rest. Still, Group 559 adapts. They move by night, dig deeper shelters, build alternate routes. By the end of 1968, their network stretches across 3 countries, carrying more than 10,000 tons of supplies a month, all unseen, all unstoppable. From above, the jungle looks dead, but beneath the smoke, under the roots and the soil, the war continues, quiet, invisible, enduring. One American pilot writes in his logbook after a fruitless mission, "We bombed shadows today, but somehow the shadows keep moving." 1969, eastern Laos, near the border with Quang Tri province. The air smells of diesel and damp earth. Beneath the jungle canopy,
Men crawl through trenches carrying long, hollow tubes of bamboo. They are not weapons, they are arteries. Each piece is fitted end to end, sealed with rubber strips cut from old truck tires. Inside flows not blood, but fuel, the energy of an entire war. This is the pipeline of Group 559, one of the most extraordinary engineering feats of the 20th century, and no one outside this jungle knows it exists. Lieutenant Kang, now promoted to captain, stands ankle-deep in mud as his team tests the first pump. A faint hum travels through the line. Then, a thin stream of gasoline gushes out from the other end. The men cheer quietly, clapping one another on the back. No loud voices, no lights. Every sound is swallowed by the forest. Within months, the bamboo prototype becomes a full-scale network of steel pipes, running more than 1,000 kilometers, from Vingling in the north through Laos into Dong Ha near the demilitarized zone. Dozens of pumping stations are disguised under palm fronds. Each pump is manned by engineers who work 16-hour shifts in stifling heat, often waist-deep in water. The Americans don't believe it at first. Fuel pipelines through a jungle under constant bombardment? Impossible. And yet, it works. The pipeline feeds trucks, tanks, and generators. It keeps the Ho Chi Minh Trail alive even when roads are bombed beyond use. When a section is hit, crews repair it overnight, using makeshift joints hammered from scrap metal. Meanwhile, the bicycle convoys continue, now upgraded. The soldiers reinforce frames with truck leaf springs and mount wooden axles, allowing each bicycle to carry over 300 kilograms. From a distance, the convoys look like ghosts. Hundreds of men pushing silent, gearless machines through mist and mud, their clothes soaked, their eyes hollow but unwavering. Each man knows the importance of his cargo: rice for the South, ammunition for the battles to come. By 1970, the jungle becomes an industrial labyrinth. Warehouses dug into cliffsides, repair depots hidden under moss, and bridges built entirely from vines and bamboo, able to bear the weight of a truck, yet vanish when needed. The Americans unleash new tactics. Drones, infrared sensors, and seismic detectors litter the jungle. But Group 559 answers with human intuition. Scouts who can spot a hidden sensor by the faint reflection of metal in moonlight, or the smell of freshly cut plastic. In one clearing, a young engineer wipes his forehead and whispers to Kang, "They have their machines, sir, but we have our hands." Kang smiles faintly, though he knows how high the cost has been. By the end of that year, more than 10,000 members of Group 559 have been killed, not in battle, but in silence, buried under the jungle they built. Yet their work never stops. Each drop of fuel that flows south, each bullet delivered to the front, becomes proof that endurance can outlast technology. That in this war, the unseen can be mightier than the sky itself. 1970 to 1971, along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, southern Laos. By now, the trail is no longer just a road, it is a living organism. It stretches, contracts, and heals itself. The jungle shelters it like a mother hides her child. Even as American B-52s pound the mountains daily, new paths appear by dawn. Every bomb crater becomes a pond for water storage. Every fallen tree becomes a bridge. In the half-light of morning, Captain Pham Von Kong and his unit walk through a section that has been hit 6 times in a single week. The smell of cordite and damp moss fills the air. A truck, its front torn open by shrapnel, lies abandoned at the roadside. Yet the convoy moves. One vehicle replaces the next, the flow never stopping. Men and women from across North Vietnam, mechanics, cooks, medics, porters, now fill the jungle. They call themselves the soldiers of the Truong Son Trail, though most never fire a shot. They sleep in earthen bunkers carved into hillsides, roofs covered with living vines. When it rains, water drips through the bamboo slats like tears. Kong visits one of the field kitchens, where women squat over low fires that use smokeless charcoal made from soaked rice husks. The smell of boiled cassava mixes with the metallic tang of fuel oil. A girl, no older than 16, hums a folk song as she stirs a pot. "We feed the front," she says with a shy smile. "That's our battle." Every night, the jungle glows faintly with movement, a symphony of survival. Convoys pass under cover of darkness, their wheels muffled by banana leaves. Trail repair crews work by touch, guided by the glow of fireflies. When an air raid comes, the ground shakes, but no one runs. They know the pattern by heart. The first whistle of bombs, the flash, the wave of sound, and then silence. Only when the silence deepens do they begin to rebuild. Further south at Base 604, near the Laotian border, the heart of the supply network pulses with precision. Commanders trace maps with trembling fingers under candlelight, plotting routes for trucks carrying everything from rifles to morphine. Nearby, medics tend to the wounded. Men burned, deafened, or half-blind from explosions, yet asking when they can return to work. Above them, the Americans escalate again. Operation Commando Hunt, a relentless air campaign using new electronic sensors, guided bombs, and chemical defoliants. The jungle begins to thin, revealing scars of red earth, but the trail doesn't die. Kong's unit adapts. They dig tunnels deep beneath the hills, wide enough for trucks. Bamboo vents disguised as termite mounds release the exhaust. At dawn, the trucks emerge again like phantoms, vanishing just as fast. Even the air seems to protect them. The dense humidity scatters radar signals. The canopy swallows heat signatures. To the Americans, the convoys simply disappear. To Kong's men, it feels like the forest itself has joined the war. One evening, as thunder rumbles in the distance, Kong writes in his logbook, "We are ghosts in the jungle, but every ghost carries a nation on his back." By 1971, that nation is very much alive. Nearly 30,000 tons of supplies move through this invisible empire each year, enough to feed, arm, and sustain entire divisions fighting in the south. The Americans call it impossible. The Vietnamese call it endurance. And the jungle? The jungle calls it survival.
Late 1971, early 1972. The Ho Chi Minh Trail and southern Laos. The sound of engines returns, not from the jungle below, but from the skies. For the men of Group 559, it is a sound they have lived with for years. But now it is different. Louder, heavier, relentless. Operation Linebacker 1 has begun. The Americans are determined to crush the invisible road once and for all. In the valleys of Sepon and Ban Lê Boi Ford, where the Ho Chi Minh Trail weaves across Laos, the earth itself seems to ignite. B-52 bombers blanket the jungle in waves of explosions so violent that entire ridges collapse. Napalm burns in rivers of orange fire. Trees turn to ash mid-air. The air smells of metal, smoke, and rain. Captain Pham Van Kang grips the steering wheel of a truck convoy as the ground trembles beneath him. The sky flashes white. A bomb detonates barely 200 meters away, and the blast lifts his vehicle off the road. He lands hard, dazed but alive. Behind him, another truck burns. The driver does not move. "Keep going," Kang yells. The others obey, teeth clenched, eyes fixed on the twisting trail ahead. Each kilometer is a victory. In command bunkers deep inside limestone caves, officers of Group 559 track every movement on large hand-drawn maps. Colored pens mark convoys that have made it through. Red lines mark those lost to the air raids. It is a grim mosaic, yet the lines keep multiplying southward. The Americans escalate further. They deploy AC-130 gunships, Cobra helicopters, and fleets of sensors dropped by parachute. Each sensor can detect footsteps, the rumble of engines, even heartbeats. But the Vietnamese learn to fool them. They scatter herds of water buffalo across the jungle to trigger false readings. They hang metal cans in trees to imitate engine noise. They plant fake convoys of straw and scrap metal, which draw entire bomb runs away from the real supply lines. At night, when the air cools and the bombers return to base, the jungle wakes again. Convoys emerge from tunnels, headlights covered with red cloth. Crews whisper as they work. Mechanics fix engines with tools made from salvaged bomb fragments. Nurses tend to the wounded by the glow of oil lamps. Every sound, every breath is measured, disciplined, deliberate.
Then in March 1972, the reason for all this endurance becomes clear. From the southern end of the trail near Dong Ha, a massive thunder rolls across the border. It is not bombs this time, it is artillery. The North Vietnamese army has begun its eastern offensive. Hundreds of tanks, thousands of troops, and entire divisions pour down the same roads carved by Group 559 years earlier. What began as a secret trail has become a superhighway of war. Kang, now thin and gray with exhaustion, stands at the edge of a clearing as T-54 tanks thunder past. He watches one of them stop, its crew waving to him. The tank's side is streaked with mud, but painted in white are the words, "Fueled by Trung San." He smiles, not out of pride, but disbelief. They have done it, kept the lifeline alive under the weight of the world's heaviest bombs. In Washington, American analysts finally admit what soldiers on the ground have long known. We can destroy the jungle, but we cannot destroy their will. The Ho Chi Minh Trail has endured everything: steel, fire, rain, and death. And now, through that endurance, it carries the power to end the war itself.
Early 1975, the Ho Chi Minh Trail, near the Cambodian border. The war is ending, though no one dares to say it aloud. The jungle is quieter now. The distant thunder of American bombers, once constant like a heartbeat, has vanished. What remains are the echoes of engines, hundreds of them, rolling steadily south. For the men and women of Group 559, this is their final mission. After nearly a decade of building, digging, and surviving, the trail they carved through mud and fire is about to serve its ultimate purpose: the delivery of victory. Captain Pham Van Kong, now commander of a transport battalion, rides in the lead truck. His uniform is threadbare, his hands rough and scarred, but his eyes are alive with quiet pride. Ahead lies the road to Saigon. It is not the same trail he first walked in 1966. Now the once hidden path has grown into a vast supply highway, wide enough for tanks and artillery, lined with fuel pipes and communication cables, protected by anti-aircraft guns. The Americans had called it a trail. In truth, it has become a networked empire of movement, stretching from Hanoi to the Mekong like veins through a living body. From the roadside, local villagers wave as the convoy passes. They bring tea, dried cassava, and cigarettes for the drivers. The air smells of smoke and damp soil. Every face along the road carries the same expression: exhaustion mixed with hope. By April, the convoys merge with the main advance of the People's Army of Vietnam. T-54 tanks painted with white slogans thunder southward, "March to Saigon." Fuel pumps hum along the trail, pushing gasoline through pipes buried deep in the jungle. The same system built years ago with bamboo and willpower. The lifeline that once carried 30,000 tons of supplies in secret now feeds an entire army in open daylight. Kong looks over a bridge spanning a muddy river, its wooden planks slick with rain. He remembers rebuilding that same bridge after a bombing run 8 years earlier, shoveling mud with his bare hands while fire still burned in the trees. Now, tanks cross it effortlessly, engines roaring like thunder. He whispers to his driver, "We built this road for the war. Maybe someday it will carry peace." On April 30th, 1975, the last radio message comes through. Saigon has fallen. There are no cheers in the jungle, no fireworks or parades, only the hum of engines slowing to silence and the soft patter of rain on the leaves. Kong removes his cap and looks to the sky. For the first time in 10 years, there are no aircraft, only clouds drifting above an unbroken canopy. He thinks of the men who never saw this day, the thousands who died building the road that made it possible. In the damp earth beneath his boots lie their stories, their sweat, their endurance. He knows the war was not won by the tanks or the guns, but by the hands that carried fuel, pushed bicycles, and repaired bridges in the dark. The Ho Chi Minh Trail has done its work. The hidden army has vanished back into the soil, leaving behind nothing but silence, and a nation reborn. Late 1970s, Cheon Song Mountains.
Morning mist drifts across the green ridges where the Ho Chi Minh Trail once pulsed with the life of a hidden army. Now the jungle has reclaimed it. Roots twist over old tire tracks, vines hang from what used to be bridges. The echoes of trucks, shovels, and marching boots have long faded, replaced by birdsong and the whisper of wind through bamboo. Standing by a moss-covered milestone marked Drong Trung San, Kilometer Zero, an older Colonel Pham Ban Kang traces the worn inscription with his hand. His hair has turned silver, his voice quiet. Around him, former members of Group 559 have gathered. Men and women once young and fearless, now weathered by years of labor and loss. They speak softly, laughing at old memories that once smelled of sweat and smoke. A local boy approaches, holding a rusted bicycle frame he found in the forest. Its rims are bent, its chain long gone. Kang smiles gently. That bicycle carried 300 kilograms once, he tells the child. It carried a nation. The boy doesn't understand yet. He just stares in awe at the metal relic, as if it's a mythical creature. All around, fragments of history remain. Pieces of fuel pipes half buried in soil, faded helmets, broken tools, wooden signs pointing nowhere. The jungle hides them, but does not erase them. In Hanoi, museums now display those same artifacts. The bamboo pipeline joints, the hand-drawn maps, the patched uniforms. Visitors stare at them in silence, trying to imagine how an army could move 30,000 tons of supplies without being seen. Photographs show faces, young men and women smiling under camouflage nets, their eyes fierce, their hands caked in mud. The captions are simple. Group 559, the invisible force that kept the war alive. Historians call it the greatest logistical achievement in modern warfare, a road system longer than the distance from New York to Los Angeles, built entirely on hand under bombs that fell every hour for 10 years. But for Kang and his comrades, it was never about records or recognition. It was about survival, the stubborn belief that no matter how powerful the enemy, a nation's will could find a way through the jungle. He closes his eyes, listening. In the stillness, he can almost hear it again, the distant rumble of engines, the laughter of young soldiers pushing bicycles through mud, the rhythmic clang of tools shaping bridges in the dark. And for a moment, the jungle breathes once more. Because the Ho Chi Minh Trail was never just a road. It was a heartbeat, one that carried an entire people through the fire, unseen but unstoppable. As Kang turns to leave, the clouds part above the Cheongsong peaks, sunlight breaking through in pale silver beams. The air smells of rain and earth, the scent of memory. He whispers to the wind, "We built it with our hands. The world will remember with its heart."